Chapter 12. From that moment, the screaming began that continued for 3 days. It was so terrible that one could not hear it through 2 closed doors without horror. At the moment he answered his wife, he realized that he was lost, that there was no return. And the end had come, the very end. Yet the doubts were still unsolved. There remained doubts. "Oh, oh, oh!" she cried in various intonations. They began by screaming, "I won't," and continued screaming on the letter O. For 3 whole days, during which time did not exist for him, he struggled in that blank sack into which he was being thrust by an invisible, resistless force. He struggled as a man condemned to death struggles in the hands of the executioner, knowing that he cannot save himself. At every moment he felt that despite all his efforts, he was drawing nearer and nearer to what terrified him. He felt that his agony was due to his being thrust in that blank hole, and still more to his not being able to get right into it. He was hindered from getting into it by his conviction that his life had been a good one. The very justification of his life held him fast, prevented his moving forward, and caused him most tormentful. Suddenly some force struck him in the chest and side, making it still harder to breathe as he fell through the hole. And there at the bottom was a light. What happened to him was like the sensation one sometimes experiences in a railway carriage when one thinks one is going backwards while one is really going forwards, and suddenly becomes aware of the real direction. Yes, it was not the right thing, he said to himself. But that is no matter. It can be done. But what is the right thing? He asked himself, and suddenly grew quiet. This all occurred at the end of the 3rd day, 2 hours before his death. This is then his schoolboy son had crept softly and gone up to the bedside. The dying man was still screaming, desperately waving his arms. His hand fell on the boy's head, and the boy caught it, pressed it to his lips, and began to cry. And that one moment, even Ilych fell through and caught sight of the light. It was revealed to him that though his life had not been what it should have been, this could still be rectified. He asked himself, what is the right thing? And grew still, listening. Then felt that someone was kissing his hand, opened his eyes, looked at his son, and felt sorry for him. His wife came up to him, and he glanced at her. She was gazing at him, open-mouthed, with undried tears on her nose and cheek, and the despairing look on her face. He felt sorry for her too. Yes, I'm making them wretched, he thought. They are sorry, but it will be better for them when I die. He wished to say this, but had not the strength to utter it. Besides, why speak? I must die. I must act, he thought. With a look at his wife, he indicated his son and said, "Take him away. Sorry for him, sorry for you too." He tried to end, "Forgive me," and said it for good, and with his hand, knowing that his whole understanding, manners, would understand. And suddenly it grew clear to him that what has been oppressing him, I would not leave him, was all dropping away at once from 2 sides. from 10 sides and from all sides. He was sorry for them. He must act so as not to hurt them, release them to free himself from this suffering. How good and how simple, he thought. With the pain, he asked himself, what has become of it? Where are you, pain? He turns his attention to it. Oh, yes, here it is. Well, what of it? Let the pain be. And death, where is it? He sought his former accustomed fear of death and did not find it. Where is it? What death? There was no fear, because there was no death. In place of death, there was light. So that's what it is. He suddenly exclaimed loud, "What joy!" To him, all this happened in a single instant. The meaning of that instant did not change. For those present, his agony continued for another 2 hours. Something rattled in his throat. His emaciated body twitched. Then the gasping rattle became less and less frequent. "It's finished," said someone near him. He heard those words and repeated them in his soul. "Death is finished," he said to himself. "It is no more." He drew in a breath, stopped in the middle of a sigh, stretched it out, and died. The end.